Either I need to make a change or I'm gonna die. Like, those are my two different options, and there was no in between. And I looked at myself as that 300-pound person still, and I didn't see any change in my body composition for a long time.
This isn't a life sentence. It's not anything that I can't change.
Because I didn't believe it, so I had to go somewhere. I was embarrassed. I went out of town. I'm over 3.5 years of not drinking.
90 out of 100 who get a diabetes diagnosis won't change anything.
I'm a dad first, and the job comes after.
So food and eating is a pleasurable sensory experience. So it makes sense why people are addicted to food.
She said to me, bold face, looked me in the eye and goes, you need a lifestyle change. I just didn't like the way I felt. And all of a sudden I had this clarity in the morning.
Entrepreneurs are glorified in our society. They're some of the most unhappy, sad, misvalued place people among us.
You changed my family's life. You changed my life forever. And
What's up, everybody? Coach Colby here. Welcome back to another episode of The Long Game. Today I'm joined by two really close friends, TJ and Esther Simon. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Welcome in. Thanks for coming on. This is a very special episode of The Long Game. TJ and I have been working together for coming up on 4 years. We started working together in November of 22. Over the course of the first 18 months to 2 years, TJ reversed his diabetes. And so I want to learn how you did that without medication. You did it with lifestyle change and behavior change. And it's really cool. So I just want to share that story. It just so happened they're on vacation here in Denver. I needed a topic for the podcast, and I thought, what a better way to just explore the principles and the philosophies that we're in. So, guys, thanks for taking some time to come out.
thanks for having us.
Well, let's dive in here, man. TJ, I remember from our early consultation when we first kicked things off, you had a pretty extensive athletic background growing up. Like, you were active. You were not just like a couch potato, just sitting around doing nothing. So I'm curious, man, tell me a little bit about your background, but then ultimately my question is, how do you start there in young age and end up diabetic? Tell me about this.
Well, I started, obviously played hockey, played tennis growing up. So I spent a lot of time in the woods, hiking through the woods and doing some of that stuff.
They're from Minnesota, by the way.
Yep.
Is that where you grew up?
Yeah, we grew up in Minnesota. Yep. I grew up in the cities, but we live in northern Minnesota, or up in Park Rapids, about 2 hours south of Canada. So we're up there. We have cold winters and hot summers, so it's good. Lakes area. So we have all the fun stuff to do around our area. So you're outside playing in the water, swimming, doing all that kind of stuff. And then you get into the grind of work. You graduate college and you get into the grind of work, and sometimes the grind of work takes over. And my mom battled with diabetes my whole life. She, in fact, she had lost her leg 5 years prior to passing away because of diabetes. So they actually removed her bottom half of her leg. So I lived it. I watched it. Was tested and never really thought anything of it. And then, as we've talked about, I went to go get life insurance for my family. We have 3 kids, and wanted to make sure if something happened, they were taken care of after my mom passed away. And I was denied life insurance. And the reason being was my A1C was over the limit. It was 7.7.
So you're riding dirty, dude.
I know, it was over the limit.
Over the limit. 7.7.
Yeah.
So do you know the cutoffs of like when?
I think it's 5.5 is what if I remember right.
I think 5.9 is considered 5.5 to 5.9 is pre-diabetic. Yeah. 6 and above is diabetic.
Yeah.
7 and above is like, oh shit.
Yeah,
this is really serious.
Went to the doctor, and basically the doctor said, hey, you need to go on medication. And I just said, no, I'm not gonna. And he said, I'll give you 6 months. That's all he said. He said, you have 6 months to change. I know you're making your changes, because, if you don't make changes, there are going to be some consequences. And obviously at that point, she can kind of touch base, and whether she felt it or not, I would say she would look at me like I was dying. That's how I felt, not that that's what but in my mind, she looked at me that I was dying because she dealt with my mom's passing of diabetes.
So I want to back you up 1 second. Yeah. So you finished college.
Yep.
Did you start real estate right away?
I started real estate at 24.
So what you're telling me is you got into your career. Is that when you started your company?
No, we
Okay.
started a company like 5 years later.
5 years later.
Yeah,
And diabetes is a really interesting thing. It doesn't just show up overnight.
right.
It's something that accrues super slowly, often undetectable. You get some indicators on your labs of your A1C and your insulin, your blood sugar, all that, level of glucose.
That's funny. I looked at my glucose today before we did this. My glucose, when I sent it to you the first time, was 166.
It's really high. It's like really high. Fasting. It's your fasting glucose, right? Yeah, that's really high. It's really high. 99 is the cutoff usually for that. So like, take me through, dude, a day in the life when you were just at your peak of just feeling super duper unhealthy. What did your daily life look like?
Well,
You're working, you're grinding, you're building your career.
I mean, it started probably 4 years prior to working with you. I got into a really hard workout, never changed my nutrition, but was doing triathlons and tried to work as hard as I can, but not change any nutrition. I mean, I was doing triathlons. I did 3 triathlons in one summer, and did it all by working hard. I'd get on the elliptical and go an hour and a half on the elliptical. I would go on, but I would also wake up in the morning, not eat breakfast, go to work, usually eat like a large pizza with my business partner, at lunch, come home, have dinner. If I got lunch, there would be days I wouldn't eat breakfast, no lunch, get home, eat as much food as I can, sit down. As we all know, my nightly ritual is popcorn and orange juice.
That's what my dad does, dude. Did I tell you this?
You did.
It's exactly what my dad does, bro. Do you make the popcorn and shit?
I don't do this anymore.
Okay.
But that's what was every night. I mean, that's what I did. And it was
I'm having like childhood flashbacks right now, bro. Oh my gosh.
But it was one of those things like that was, I just put my head down and go, hard work was how I grew up. And that's what I thought was it,
Esther, when did you like notice maybe deteriorating health or that like something really needed to shift in TJ? Do you remember?
Sure.
Was there a moment or?
Yeah, well, I think, back to when you were doing the triathlons, you were doing triathlons and working hard, but didn't really, never felt good, about it. It was like there was this end goal in mind. And then once the triathlon was done,
which, should be
a
big period of accomplishment.
Absolutely. Huge accomplishment, right? I remember there was one specific triathlon in Superior, Man, because you swim in Lake Superior, which is like 53 degrees. Freezing cold.
How long's the swim in that?
That one was 3/4 mile.
Nice. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Finished it, which was amazing. And then after that, we had about a 2.5 hour drive home. So before we drove home, we stopped and got something to eat. And he had like a fried chicken sandwich and a beer, and then slept the entire way home and felt terrible like for 2 days after that. Still,
really?
It was, I was like, why are you doing this? What's got to finish, got to do it.
That is him in a
Yeah,
nutshell.
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. But there was a 4-year period, and he probably won't talk about this, but
that's why I invited you on. This is so good. This is so good.
The intervention we talked about.
Yeah, dude.
but he did some volunteering for about 4 years, and drove back and forth to Minneapolis. So it's
just the board thing.
3.5 hours away from where we're at. And sometimes would drive down and back in a day just to attend a meeting. So sitting in the car, not necessarily moving, and to stay awake to drive home, would have, some Coke and some Skittles and, whatever caffeine and sugar to get you through it. Yeah. And so 4 years of like caffeine and sugar and heavy travel in the car. I think I wouldn't say I have ever looked at you like I thought you were very poor health-wise, but I knew something needed to change. He didn't feel good. He was doing all these volunteer activities for other people, but he wasn't taking care of himself.
Yeah, that's a common theme, especially among high performers, entrepreneurs, anybody who's in leadership often is just kind of sacrificing themselves for their team or for their customer. And the great irony is that gets us nowhere. We got to take care of our own recovery. Our own energy is really important. So you grew up around diabetes. What's your earliest memory of that word?
So my mom, I remember, and I was probably 10 or 11. She worked with the diabetes clinic somewhere in the cities, and she went on an all liquid diet.
Whoa, okay. Do you remember what year this was?
Oh, man. So it probably would have been like 93, 92, 93.
Same town you live in now? Same area?
No, down in the cities. Yep. So down in Minneapolis, St. Paul area. And she had worked with some dietitian down there, and it was a regulated and watched type of thing. And I watched her lose 80 some pounds on this. Literally, she drank a shake every 3 times a day. And we'd go out to eat. She'd just get water and just make a shake. So there was no food, and lost obviously a lot of weight. You know
how she talked about that? Did she ever like?
She talked about
was
it.
her
And
energy
just,
around it good? Was she like bummed about it?
no, it was good because she was losing weight. But the second it got over, she gained all the weight back. And so then after that happened, she had that mindset of what she looked like or how she felt at that point. So she went back and lost it, as she called it, the right way, by eating right, eating the right foods, walking, exercising, and then continued to, at that point, lose the weight back by herself, and was in a very good place for a long time. Became a grandma and was there for all the grandkids. And her, like myself, was there for everybody else and not herself. And that's where it reared its head in the end for her. So she passed away at 61.
61.
Yep.
Lost her leg.
Yep. Lost her leg at 57.
Wow.
Yep. So it's like 14 years ago.
14 years.
Yep.
So tell me, dude, when you got your own diagnosis, like when the doctor sat down and said, TJ, you're diabetic, were you kind of like, oh, I expected this? Were you kind of like, holy, I didn't see this coming?
Yeah, I didn't see it coming.
I run and I do triathlons. I'm in great shape.
I didn't see it coming, but as soon as it happened, it was like, okay, now I need to make a life change. I'd just gotten off the board. I knew that, we had just had.
That was really stressful.
And Kai, it was very much. And then Kai was 2, so our youngest was 2 years old. And I already knew I was going to be an old dad. Last week when she graduated kindergarten and said that they're going to graduate in 2038, and I said, I'm going to be 58 years old. I went, oh my God. Like, so now more than ever do I realize I have to be, healthy to be able to be there for my kids. And I've talked that about with you from the beginning. Like, that's my why. My why is my kids. After getting off the board and doing all that stuff, what I do is for my kids. And I've changed my life in that aspect for the kids more than a lot of things.
You totally have. Dude, I don't know. I didn't know you before this. I have no idea. This could all be a lie. It's obviously not. I've seen the lab reports. I've met your family. So what was it like though, man? I mean, seriously, go back to the doctor's office or go back to the phone call or whatever. Like, do you remember when this happened, Esther?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. There was some shock, I think. He's like, well, I got to go do this thing to finish this paperwork to get the life insurance, or whatever. And then your results, I think, had come back in the mail.
So so the labs were part of the insurance process. You were just doing your physical.
Yep.
No, yeah.
You were applying for insurance.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in that, they do your labs. They
Yep.
look at you.
Yep.
I remember doing it. I got tested for cocaine. I got tested
everything.
for alcohol
Yep.
and pot and all these
Yep.
things. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
good, you guys.
Yeah.
It's very deep,
detailed.
very thorough.
Right.
Yeah.
And it absolutely, obviously was for life insurance because it wasn't like it was part of your regular yearly physical.
No, I wasn't doing those.
Because those didn't happen.
Yeah. Okay, lesson 1. Listeners, lesson 1, yearly check-ins with your doctor, especially you fellas out there. If you're like me, you don't like going, but it's so important.
Yes.
Please continue. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So then I think there was some shock, when the results came back and from the life insurance company specifically.
Said you're denied.
You're denied. And like it took him a minute. He was like, wait, what? Hold on.
And then it said, contact your primary provider. And I said, I don't think I have one of those. Why do I have one of those? So, and that's when I went and got tested again, thinking that was wrong, right?
And it came back obviously
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah. And He called when he called
When was
me.
this? What you started with me in November?
Yeah, but you got those results. That was November. So
Oh,
that
this
was
had-
probably October. That
this
probably
had just happened.
Yeah, it probably happened in October, September, October, that I got the denial, and then I went and got tested. And Esther's the one that said, she never said anything. She just sent the text of a podcast, like listen to this podcast or listen to this. You should see who this person is.
Yeah.
And so
That was I did on a whim an interview with Kylie 'cause she's trying to build her podcast. I was trying to help her out. It's like I don't know what I'm going to tell you about anything, but it was great. So you found me through that podcast.
Yeah.
Do you remember like
Yeah.
what was it that was like, yeah, I need to send this to my husband?
Yeah, absolutely. So there was a couple things, right? Like timing is everything. So he was ready, at that moment. I think as a spouse, sometimes it's really hard to say, like, are you sure you want to have that king size bag of Skittles? Like as a spouse, because
I've had my moments. I'm sure Ashley's listened to this. Like
you support each other, right? I mean, that's what you do. So you don't ever want to question, what you're doing. But I think what resonated with me was working with, specifically busy individuals. I don't have time for this. I don't have time to take care of myself. I don't have time for nutrition. And I was like, I think this is going to resonate. So
it sounds like my husband.
yeah, I've heard these exact same phrases, right, that TJ said before. So at that point, I was like, maybe he'll give this a listen. He's selling real estate, is in the vehicle a lot, so has some time to listen, to podcasts. And I was like, I think this sounds like something, that would resonate with him. So I sent it along.
it probably took me 2 to 3 weeks before I called you, though.
Did you listen to the episode?
Yeah,
right
for
away?
sure. Yeah,
What was your honest first reaction? If like,
okay, like I didn't. It was like
whatever.
I mean, that was early on in podcasts and that kind of. I mean, it was just something that was just like, okay, fine, I'm good with that. Like, but it wasn't like I had my time to sit and process all of it.
Yeah.
And so after that, I mean, obviously there was some more along the way. I can't remember now, but there was probably some other things or signs, of trying to walk up a hill, at that time. I remember in 2010 when we started our company, we were up on the North Shore in Minnesota along Lake Superior, and there's a lot of hiking and stuff in that area. And my business partner and his wife and Esther and I went up there as we were doing business planning, and we did a 3-mile hike. And I got to the top of the 3-mile hike, or it was about a mile and a half in, and my business partner goes, "Are you going to die on me?" It was wintertime. And when you hike in the winter and you sweat a lot as a very large man, because I was close to 300 pounds, that was before I started doing triathlons. This is what made me do triathlons. I was pushing 300 pounds at that point.
How tall are you?
5'10".
Yeah.
And
The BMI's not good.
right, no, not good.
Not good.
And so, but I was completely frosted over. My whole body was full of frost because of this amount of sweat. And
Dang.
and he's like, "You're going to die. Like, we're starting this company. How are you going to?" And I didn't know his wife that well at that time. They were recently together. And she said to me, I said, "I need to go on a diet." And she said to me, bold face, looked me in the eye and goes, "You need a lifestyle change." And that was the first time that I ever.
What was her name? Do you remember her name?
What's that?
What was her name?
It was Tara.
Tara, you deserve to be called out for that. Thank you, Tara.
But
Change this man's life.
That's all she said. And then and from that is when we got me into the triathlons and doing some more of the fitness side of it. And I lost 40 pounds at that point, but it was a hard lose, because you're stuffing yourself full of food. As soon as I would work out, then I think
it's weird because you got this really high volume endurance activity, which takes a lot of calories to do, but you know, the metabolic health and the calories in, it's a really weird dynamic. A lot of people fall into that.
But the mindset is, if I did that workout, I deserve to eat that.
That's exactly what I mean. Yeah, totally. It's easy to.
Right.
Yeah, because the laws of calories in, calories out. It's like I just burned 2,000 calories. I can for sure eat this sausage pizza with no ill effects.
Exactly.
No, that's not how our metabolism works in the slightest. Yeah. So when you sent that episode over, it was on Kylie Larson's podcast. Here's the deal. Is that what it was? Do you remember?
Yes.
Here's the
right.
deal.
Yeah.
It was such a long. I don't even know what I said on the thing. By the way, did you have to sell him on it, or were you just kind of like texting to him like, "Hey, listen to this episode and see where it goes"? Oh, hey Chase, we got a screensaver, bud. I don't know if that means anything, but there you go.
He absolutely would not have listened to it if I tried to sell him on it. So I just sent it to him.
True story.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no.
I don't do something that someone tells me to do. It has to be my idea.
It does. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So if I sent it to him and he listened to it when he could on his own time,
Yeah.
and it was his idea, there was a good chance that he was going to give you a call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was it for you when you finally made the decision? Like, what was it that you heard in the episode or in
Well, I think it was the resonating that you were working with people that were high performers. I would never consider myself a high performer, but that's not how I would look at myself at all. But someone that's busy, someone that's doing the job every single day. And I think when you said we can do that and you work it into your lifestyle,
Yeah.
I think I knew I was ready in that aspect. I remember sitting in my office, at my office in my conference room, making the phone call and having that first conversation with you, and you grilling me. I think almost, am I ready? Like almost in that conversation. I mean, like, am I ready? Are you ready to take me on? And am I ready to be committed? Because I'm not going to waste my time at that time, you know, because we had a phone call first and then we did a Zoom call.
Yeah. We talked. Then we did a proper consult. We did like a pre-chat.
Yeah.
Just like a vibe check.
Yeah.
You know, like, is this guy psycho or is it
Right.
are we going to vibe? You know, the relationship dynamics. So it's everything, man. It's such an important part.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess, you know, I wanted to know where you were at, you know, just like, if this is a priority, is this a quick fix? Like, where are we? Because I don't want to do the quick fix thing.
Right.
I want to support people through really adopting a new identity and a new value system and integrating health into that, you know? You were ready, man. Like, one of the things I teach my coaches is for it to be sustained, it has to be self-started.
Yeah.
There's nothing that I did. Like, what was the gal's name who Boldface told you?
Tara.
Tara maybe was the genesis very, very early on
Yeah.
that led to this. And then obviously Esther here in the podcast, and that your way. And then,
And Esther had been doing some of this stuff prior to. She's always been on the nutrition side of it and, you know, in a pretty good place. You know, I'd seen some tracking and doing some of that stuff, you know, so it's like, but I realize now I was pretty rude about that. Like, I realize now, like, as she would do some tracking and stuff like that, I'd be like, let's just go to eat. Let's just go out to eat. You figure it out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was
we worked into some tracking eventually.
I was
so,
not
yeah.
supportive of her the way I should have been, the way she was supportive of me when I did this. And I think I was probably a year into it when I looked at her. I'm like, I apologize. Like, I'm sorry for not supporting you when you were in that, because you, all of a sudden you look at it the other way. Like, it's a struggle sometimes. And we'll talk about that.
Dude, it is. Yeah. And that, I mean, honestly, what I hear from that is just a sign of a normal, healthy marriage of just like meathead, stupid guy, just trying to figure out such a patient, kind,
I
loving
never
spouse.
said she was right, but
I did apologize for being a jerk.
for
Yeah.
being wrong.
Oh,
Thought
100%.
anything of it. Like, we would make 2 separate meals at home, right? Like, I would make a separate meal with, you know,
The protein,
prioritizing,
yeah.
you know, what I was working on. And then you're like, I'm not going to eat that. So then we would make a separate, like, we were making 2 dinners every night, right? But I never thought anything of it.
Right.
Just like, this is just the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, you know, the family style has kind of gone out of style. Like, family style meaning like a big thing in the middle and everybody, like, you know, there's an Italian restaurant in Wheat Ridge. It's so good. And they do family style. They're like, serve up like spaghetti here and bread here and pasta here. And you just like take it. I don't think that's how, I don't know. My family doesn't do it that way. You know, we tend to just kind of eat when we're hungry. We'll do a family meal with our own stuff and ever. So, but you guys were definitely on different nutrition tracks for a while there. TJ, do you remember our starting point? Do you remember the very first thing I had you do in terms of implementation? Because did I do program design for you at that time, or was it just nutrition?
We wouldn't do program design. You said we aren't starting program design until we get your nutrition right.
Good coaching, Colby. Let's go.
So,
I didn't remember that.
We
That's
had like
cool.
a month of like,
Just-
like I signed up and I'm like, okay, let's go. And you're like, oh, no. We got to step back. Let's start with,
Let's do this in the right order.
I remember you saying, I want you to write down, I still have the picture
Do you
in my
really?
phone of write down everything you ate this week.
Hmm.
And I'm sure you looked at it and went, what in the
Oh, the food journal, 3-day
Yeah.
food log. Yeah.
and we went through that, and we did that for the first month probably, and then I started doing the portions with my hand sizes and all that kind of stuff.
Even before any of that, do you remember what we did? Eating slow. Do you remember this
yeah,
one?
that's a yeah.
Do you remember this?
That's like hell.
100%.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I don't know if I can say that, but that's
You can
hell.
say it, yeah. Appetite awareness, hunger and fullness signals, paying attention to appetite is the base core of all of it. This is why GLPs work so well, by the way. You guys know GLPs, glucagon-like peptides, semaglutide, tirzepatide, all these other peptides that are really popular right now. They impact our appetite and impact our hunger and our hunger and fullness. We just feel really full. The reason we started with eating slow is just to like bring our awareness online.
Yeah.
Like, am I actually hungry or am I bored? Am I sad? Am I tired? Am I happy? We can eat for any number of reasons. Kind of a tangent, but have you ever heard of the homunculus, man? Oh, I don't have Wi-Fi. It's a visual representation of our nervous system. And the larger a body part is on the homunculus, man, there's more nerve interactions.
Okay.
And it basically looks like a really oddly shaped human with humongous hands and a humongous jaw and a really large brain, and everything else is kind of skinny. What that is we have so many nerve endings right here. This is a very sensory thing. So food and eating is a pleasurable sensory experience.
Yeah.
So it makes sense why people are addicted to food. There's all this other stuff going on. So tell me about that, like eating slow. Let's just reflect on that for a little bit. Because the whole goal was, hey, man, I want you to 1 meal a day, 20-minute timer.
You told me
Pace your
10-minute
meal.
timer.
Was
and
it till we started 10? Okay.
Yeah, and that was
Hard.
It was horrible. Like I hated it. Like I cussed at you the whole time.
Yeah.
And so the problem is now is my 17-year-old kid will turn to me and look and go, "Aren't you supposed to eat slow?" Even to this day.
Good man.
Like he'll still say that, or someone will say it, because as you're busy, for me to sit down and have dinner. I mean, we eat as a family quite often, because we all eat the same stuff now. But we eat as a family quite often. But at lunch, it's like you sit down, I shovel as fast as I can. You know, it's just different now. It's like I can't catch myself, but it was not easy.
Before working on that behavior, had you ever, was that even on your radar?
No, I could be done with supper before anyone sits down.
Wow. On to the next thing.
On to the next thing.
On to the next thing. Yeah.
Like our family dinner was me standing up, walking away as they're all sitting down with their plate.
Yeah. What did you notice? Did you notice any
Oh my goodness.
change in that first few months?
Yeah. So I will say at first, he didn't do it with a timer. So he would sit down at the table and try to eat slow. And you had, son, daughter, and myself that were like, well, that wasn't 10 minutes. We need to try it again tomorrow. So we started the timer.
Nice.
Actually,
My gosh.
I think our son started the timer for, let's see what 10 minutes actually is like.
Oh, it's so long.
Yeah. You were like, it's gotta be. Did you start that? Like, are you,
That
like,
was horrible.
Are we done yet? It was so, yeah.
It's often one of the harder habits, but it's everything. That right there is the whole, that's the whole point. It's just appetite awareness. That turns into eating when you're actually hungry. We do the hunger game where you rate your appetite.
Yeah.
You did some of that. At what point did you get a diet or a meal plan? That was months and months.
Yeah, we probably second month.
No, further than that.
Oh, maybe
It was probably like month 6.
Oh, meal plan.
Where we did like macros and calories.
Oh, we didn't get that. We were
Might have been
6
year one.
Yes,
It was a
maybe
while.
we didn't do that for a long time. You know.
What did those early months look like at home? Like what just in terms of his rhythm, his habits, his eating?
Yeah. I will say it was pretty cool to watch because it was a slow, consistent change. And I think over time he got more confident in it. Where it was like maybe we didn't have to use the timer so much, and you could kind of feel what that felt like, so less reliance on like the timer eventually, or understanding what, an appropriate serving size of protein is, walking through it over time. It was pretty cool to see. It didn't happen overnight, and it wasn't without, and it wasn't without some struggle in there or some, just wanting to, like, why am I doing this? Like going back to kind of old habits.
Let me dig into that attention for a little bit. Like, tell me about that. Just be real. Like, tell me, were there ever moments where you're like, what in the frick am I doing?
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing. Like, why am I trying so hard? Like, does it really matter? Does this really matter in the grand scheme of what I want to get done? I think, but that's where you're, at first we were like weekly. I feel like we were weekly and you were like, hey, how's it going? You know what I mean? And I'd be like, I couldn't make it through lunch. I had to do this. I just didn't have lunch. Okay, you just need to make sure you're slowing down, and that was my biggest thing. I hadn't eaten breakfast for as long as I can remember. Like, I just didn't. I got up in the morning. The second I got up, I was out the door and I was going. And that's my biggest, that's one of the biggest changes for me. And now I don't miss breakfast. You know what I mean? It's like a whole different game in that, and you just, it was the struggle of always, food was always the second. I can get through everything the whole day. I'll eat when I get home, even if it's at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, because it was not uncommon for me to leave at 6:30 in the morning and come home at 10 o'clock at night and then eat, Yeah. You're building the business.
What shifted that for you? Because eventually you did make a change and you started to prioritize your health, your eating, and you still run a very successful company. You're leading a team. So I'm curious, like, what shifted?
I think it's the mindset. I finally realized that I needed to be the one to take care of myself first.
Nobody else is coming to save you, buddy.
Yeah, it's either myself. If I'm not going to do it, I will not be there for my kids. And I think I came to the point that either I need to make a change or I'm going to die. Like, those are my two different options. And there was no in between in my mind at that point. And I think I was at that point when we first reached out. I think that was and there was no other way for me. I'm a very driven person. Once that's what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it till I die, and that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like, I would love to take all the credit for your success, bro, but you did everything. You did it all. I just used what I knew, which is like, I feel like this would be a really good fit for TJ. So during all of this, I know that you were traveling quite a bit. You're running a growing company. How did you integrate this while you're just like in your day-to-day life? Like, cause there's probably so many times where it'd be so easy to have a client lunch and totally not do any of the things.
I live on my calendar, and I had to literally put it in my calendar. I got up in the morning, I had, from weighing myself to having breakfast, to having lunch, to having dinner. And
when did we start weighing you? Was that a thing? We didn't do it initially.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I don't remember.
I don't
probably pull up your notes and
remember.
see.
Yeah, it was fairly strict. I think I was probably in that 280 range when we started.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was back on my up high end range, because I know I lost 80 pounds and we got down to 198 was the lowest I had.
That's crazy. Yeah, we did a macro calorie cut.
Yeah.
Which is like an advanced dieting tool for somebody who has the base of appetite and routine and all those things.
But we didn't do that till maybe the third year.
That was a long time in. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was a long process to get to that point, obviously.
Esther, when did you start traveling a ton? Has it always been that way?
It hasn't. About 2.5 years ago.
2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember a consult with you. You told me this context change.
Yeah.
How did you make it through that? Like, on a health side, I'm sure there's more relational stuff, but just on your healthy habits.
For us, I had already made the change of being family first, not only in my business, not only at home. I wasn't traveling with the leadership. When I got done with my leadership at the state, I just walked away. I didn't do it. I came home, and it's all about family now. And so for her to be able to travel, I was just there for I'm there for the family. I get to be a dad, and I think that's I'm a dad first now. I don't even care. I shouldn't say I don't care about my job, but I'm a dad first, and the job comes after.
Did it used to be that way?
No.
It was Business
No,
first?
if you ask my 25-year-old son, he's
Different story.
It's a different story.
Different story.
And even our 17-year-old, I think he would have he grew up with me not being there for things sometimes because work took priority. Well, you're building a business, so it's a different type, you know.
Sacrifice. It
Yeah.
is, people don't know that. People
Yeah.
look. Entrepreneurs are glorified in our society.
Right.
They're some of the most unhappy, sad, misvalued place people
Yeah.
among us. You know, it's hard to get to a place where you can reinvest in your family and
Yeah.
do that. That really resonates with me.
They sacrificed for us in what we did, and my kids sacrificed for that. I mean, obviously, there's a benefit in the end for them, but my 6-year-old daughter, again, we have a 25, 17. 26, 16, and 6.
Nice.
And our 6-year-old daughter, I think I would say gets the best version of me.
Yeah, it's how she gets the benefit of
Yeah, I think
all those
I would
iterations
say
of
that
TJ
now,
and Esther
man,
going
that's-
through their own.
You know, she has the best version of me, of my life, and I would say that.
Yeah. Esther, when did you notice things were shifting for him? Like trending upwards in his health, his eating habits, his energy?
I wouldn't say that there was ever resistance, even at the beginning, maybe the 10-minute timer, but I wouldn't say there was ever resistance. Like he was in the mindset where he needed to make a lifestyle change. And even though some days sucked more than others, he got up the next day and kept doing it. Right.
Yeah, you really
And-
did. That was amazing.
You just got to embrace the suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really what you mean.
Yeah.
You just have to.
Yeah.
You know, that's my.
I think there were quite a few swear words during some of the initial workouts, for sure. But eventually you're like, man, this is crazy, but I'm looking forward to it. Like I'm enjoying it. And so I think that really changed too. I think once like the nutrition and when at the point when you were started to enjoy the workouts, I think was that was a pretty cool turning point, just because then he kind of was like, well, I don't know, we would go out to eat or something. And he's like, well, I'm not going to eat that. Or we're not going to go there because they don't have
What I need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like just making different choices was pretty cool.
I think I noticed some digestion stuff differently. I think you have a different understanding of the food that you eat, and realizing what happens when you eat cheese or what happens when you eat fried foods or what happens. Like
If you do a period of pretty clean eating
yeah,
and you integrate
Yeah.
processed foods,
they don't like it anymore.
they taste good. They're so good.
Right.
But your guts are like, what the heck?
Yes.
That
Gassy
was-
and bloated. And
That was also the point in there where it wasn't like a conscious, noble thing to say drinking isn't for me anymore. But
Oh, yeah.
you stopped doing
Yeah.
that.
this is a big one.
I'd
Yeah.
and that started when I was tracking.
Well, back up a second.
Yeah.
Back up. How old are you now?
46.
46. Did you drink your entire adult life?
Yeah.
What did a normal day or week look
I would
like from
have
an alcohol
at least a
perspective?
beer or a whiskey a night.
One beer or one whiskey
For
at
sure.
a minimum.
At a minimum.
What is the normal? That's a floor.
Yeah.
What did the ceiling look like?
Yeah. I mean,
COVID.
yeah. Yeah.
Getting wasted.
Exactly. I mean, I was.
Same.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
went through that too.
The FaceTime happy hours did nobody any favors.
Yeah, no,
Right.
got messy.
yeah. But I mean, and even during the leadership time, you're traveling, you're with people every single night, entertaining people. So it's just part of
Alcohol's
that whole
part of
thing.
it,
It's
yeah.
alcohol is part of that thing. And it's
You can't be the weird sober person.
right.
you know?
So you have to learn to do it the way, I'm a good with soda and a lime. I'll take a soda and a lime,
Yeah.
soda, water, and a lime. I like it. It looks like a vodka tonic.
When did you stop drinking and what led to that?
When I could only eat certain amounts when we were tracking.
The macros.
Yeah, when we were doing the macros and I could only eat a certain amount,
Yeah.
and I would plug in my beer, I'm like,
300
no,
calories.
I want food. That beer's not good enough for me to give up that food.
That's awesome.
And so it started with that. And then I went a week or two. I'm over 3.5 years of not drinking.
What I'm interested by is I hear that when people like get on a macro plan, like they're pretty committed to the plan. They'll follow the calories and the proteins and all this. But then when the macro plan's over, they're like, well, there's no constraints anymore. they go right back to typically some things that they were doing before. So why didn't you? You just stopped
I
drinking.
just didn't like the way I felt.
Great. It's awareness. Your body was telling
Yeah,
you.
I mean, I don't like how I felt in the morning. I
Yeah.
didn't, and all of a sudden I had this clarity in the morning. I could get more stuff done in the
Yeah,
morning. I'm a
dude.
morning person. I mean,
You're a
my alarm
monster.
goes off at 4:45 every morning. You know, whether I'm going to do work, whether I'm going to work out, whatever that might be, that gives me that clarity. When with alcohol, I didn't have that clarity in the morning.
Yeah. You woke up foggy.
Mm.
Do you ever have joint pain? Were your joints starting to hurt at all, or
Yeah, I mean, but not. I don't.
Just
Didn't
felt
never
kinda
associate
gross.
that with it. But
with alcohol?
yeah, I didn't.
That's a pretty common thing. Man, there was a moment in one of our consultations that you told me that not going to the gym is like not an option for you.
Mhm.
Your mental game is like so like it's black and white, and I love it in like the best way possible. You know, like
Not
truly,
everyone,
there's like
not everyone likes the black and white.
there's no like middle ground. You know, it's like,
Right.
and so I'm just curious. Tell me about that.
If
Like, when
I'm
did that?
if I'm in it, I'm doing it. I
Yeah.
mean, that's really what it comes down to, and I'm head first into everything. You know, if I'm doing triathlon, I mean, I had a battle, and I'll talk about the struggle. I had signed up for a half Ironman, and that was right at the time that Esther had taken the job.
I remember this,
And
I remember thinking, bro,
I know.
what are you doing?
And then we live in a small town, and they shut the pool down for the summer because they're renovating the school, and that's where the pool was. So I couldn't figure out a way in the technically of it to get my daughter to the lake and feel safe enough swimming with her by the lake
Where you could make
where
it
I could make it work.
Yeah.
And so I had to make that decision. And you and I talked about for long, like I felt like a failure at that point. Like my mindset was I was doing that, and I would have done it and died doing it. That'd been fine. But that's my struggle.
Would I'm curious, like, would a previous version of TJ have like stopped?
No.
Your values changed. a lot.
Correct.
You started to like really.
I would have
See the
found
bigger
somewhere for my
picture.
daughter to go.
Yeah.
It would have been all about me
Yeah.
in the
That's-
aspect.
you know what I'm
what I
getting off my
mean?
question. Yeah.
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 So
Amazing. Man, I forgot about the alcohol. I stopped drinking back in September. We had a party at our house, at a little housewarming party. And I think I was on my second or third canned margarita. I remember just taking a sip, and then like heartburn was going crazy. I felt my heart rate increasing. I felt swollen and like real puffy. And I was like, I had this moment of clarity of like, oh yeah, this is for sure the booze that I'm putting into my body. You know, I knew this, of course, but then I started to pay attention. And then in that moment, I just dumped it out. I grabbed a water, and I just haven't looked back. And it's a really kind of it's an interesting thing because it's so socially accepted. However, I will say, are you guys millennials? Are you millennials?
I'm on the edge.
I'll count you. I'll include you. Are you a millennial?
Yeah, same. I'm on the older side of millennials.
That's okay. I'll
Yeah.
take you. I'll take you.
Yeah.
I feel like our generation, as we get into our 30s, 40s, the impacts are just like really big on our biology. It's not just our generation, it's humans. But we're also paying attention like, dang, this doesn't hit the way it hit when I was 22. The impacts are like really big. And, you know, like alcohol used to be a part of our gym culture in a weird way. Like we'd have socials and parties, and like I would buy alcohol and people would drink, and it was fun. And I like really prided myself on like being a fitness guy who had what am I trying to say? It wasn't just an uppity, like, you know, don't drink. But now that I stopped drinking, I'm kind of like, that's probably not going to be part of our thing. You can bring your own stuff if you want, but no judgment. I feel like it's so socially acceptable. It's so normalized. But objectively, when you look at it, it's like not good. And so for you to come to that conclusion, everybody's got their own journey. I'm sure people listen to this want to throw this through a window, but you know, it is what it is. I will say this in my observation. I have never once had a person come in for a consultation or get into a coaching program, stop drinking, and not like say this absolutely improved my life. Not once. If people said my life is worse because I'm not drinking alcohol. So anyways, I just wanted to, I wanted to dive in there. All right, man. So your first A1C reading was 7.7. 5 months later, it was down to 6. Tell me about that. That feel good?
Yeah. I mean, that's where you and I, that's what we concentrated on.
Yeah.
It wasn't about anything else. It didn't matter weight. It didn't matter anything else. We just concentrated on the A1C. Because I wanted to not have to go on medicine. That was the ultimate. I'm not going to do that. I watched my mom struggle with that and always being on medicine that didn't make her feel good as it was. So I watched that and I knew I didn't want to be on medicine. And I think the doctor's comment to me was like, okay, you're not going to be able to do that. So in 6 months, you're going to go on medicine. And not, again, he probably didn't say it that way. It's
Like,
the
he
way
probably did.
it's the way I took it though too in my mindset at that point. And so I was like black and white. No, I'm not gonna. That's how my thought is, and I went through it. And
I had a physician as a client for a short while, and he said that 99 out of 100 people, 90 out of 100 who get a diabetes diagnosis won't change anything, and they'll just start medication. It won't change anything. They won't even try. 10% will try, and of the 10% who try, 90% won't see it through long enough for it to be impactful. This is one man's observation, but he works in a general practice and he sees this all over. Metabolic disease is just like rampant. It's like so crazy. Do you remember that moment, Esther? Like when he got that blood reading? Was that cool for you to
That was awesome.
see?
Yeah, it was just I think the confidence that came with that of like I can do this. This isn't a life sentence.
Right.
It's not anything that I can't change. That was pretty cool. Just to be able to watch that transformation from originally, the 7.7 of what am I doing with my life? I failed completely to I can actually impact change and improve my health and be there for my family long term was amazing. Yeah.
Dude, to get there, that was 5 months in, 6 months in.
mm-hmm.
Did I ever tell you anything's off the table? Do you remember the rules that I gave you?
No.
You could drink. You could eat fucking Skittles. Excuse my language. Chase, cut that out. You can eat Skittles. I just watched the other episode, by the way. I like how you edited out the piece. It was good. My mother-in-law listens to this. So I want to be a good example. There's no rules.
Right.
Everything was on the table. How did you? I mean, seriously, man. Like you did it, dude. You did it.
Yeah, I think you start to understand your body more because you understand what goes in comes out, or how you put it in is how he comes out. And when you're on a rigid plan and not rigid coming from you, but rigid coming from my mind, if I ate something wrong, whatever I perceived wrong the day before, my workout's different. Mm-hmm. You just feel different doing a workout. The thing I lifted yesterday is so much harder to lift today. Why? Well, I ate this or drank this, and you start to understand the differences of how do I feel the best to be able to get that good workout in. And I think I was proud of myself when I got to that 6.0. I think I knew I could do it at that point, and that was the rewarding for me. The part that
Bro, I was so nervous. I knew your blood test was coming up. I was just like praying. I was like, please. Let the evidence show.
And I had lost weight at that time too.
So I had a good feeling. I was
But
like, okay, this is gonna be good.
When I looked in the mirror, I hadn't lost anything. Like that's the problem that I think people sometimes struggle with. And I will say that's a struggle as someone that looks in the mirror, like in the morning. I looked at myself as that 300-pound person still, and I still saw myself as that 300-pound person. I didn't see any change in my body composition for a long time.
So this was huge. To be able to see your A1C go the wrong way. You have an objective measurement that says
Correct.
You are improving.
Correct.
Your cells are changing.
Correct.
Your metabolic health is improving. Man, that was a really cool time. I remember we set a target for 5 or 6 months out. I remember like what rigid systems break, meaning like if I were to have given you hard and fast rules, TJ, breakfast within 30 minutes, 50 grams of protein, no sugar, no alcohol, no pizza. You can't do any of that or else it's a wash. Rigid systems break. They fall apart because we're human. We have really bad night of sleep and a stressful day and an employee quits and whatever. It's like the whole thing can break down. And so flexibility needs to be a part of it to learn how to do it. So that's ultimately where we started, was just like appetite awareness. We then got into protein. I remember was the next habit. We did appetite awareness, hunger and fullness, all this for a while. We did protein for a while. Then we got into macros. Macros was more of an advanced strategy just because you were ready. You were ready to rock, tracking your food, weighing and measuring, doing a calorie cut, all these different things. So when you got the reading that said you're no longer diabetic or pre-diabetic, was it the same doctor? I'm curious.
No.
I was hoping for a full circle moment of look at this, bro.
But the first one, I take that back. It was the same doctor because he's the one that sent over and said, obviously, this is, I should pull it up because it said, this is one of the first times I've seen this, but it was just had come down that first time down to that 6. And he goes, it's trending in the right way. Keep going. So it was that same doctor. Since then I've changed doctors and it's been different, but that at that original time it was that same doctor. And he just said, keep going.
It was because you went out of town to get it.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, you did.
Yeah. Because I didn't believe it, so I had to go somewhere. I didn't want to go to a local doctor.
Right.
I was embarrassed, I think. For sure.
Really?
Originally with the 7.7. For sure I was embarrassed.
You didn't do it in your town.
Mm-hmm.
You went out of town.
I went out of town.
Whoa. You're embarrassed about it.
We're a small town.
So you thought that was going to be
yeah.
You're gonna be in line at the coffee shop and the barista's gonna be like, can you believe this guy? It's A1C 7.7.
In my mind, yeah. I guess.
Yeah, I could see some shame or some guilt or some some yucky feelings being associated with it. Is there ever a part of you that wants the health insurance person to whoever denied you to see your labs again and be like, hey, dude?
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't. We got insurance.
Yeah,
I guess to me it was a success in the end.
Yeah,
I was able to get insurance. A year later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's so amazing, man. So where are we at now? You recently had labs done?
Yeah, 5%.
Right,
yeah, we're at 5.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Why is it working? What are you doing? What's wrong with you? Why are you not going the wrong way, dude? Right. What's going on here?
Well, I think it's the commitment. It's truly has been that lifestyle change. I thrive on eating the protein. I watch what I eat, not in a bad way. I just watch what I eat. It doesn't mean I don't have something, I don't eat pizza really. I don't eat cheese. I don't eat much of that. And that's because
of how your body feels.
Because how my body feels when I eat it now. I think that's the change of that.
But what was your favorite food, your whole life? Even
pizza.
Always.
Dude, yeah. me too, man.
Yeah.
I kind of know what I'm signing up for when I eat a
and
slice
don't
or
worry,
6 of
when
pizza.
I know it's pizza, there'll be a day I'm like, I'm gonna have pizza today.
I know I'm gonna pay the price, but
it's gonna be a rough workout.
It'll be fun for about 20 minutes.
Exactly.
Everything's gonna hurt tomorrow, but I'll be good.
Yeah.
What was the hardest stretch for you guys in this? Both of you. I'm curious. Was this a massive shift in your household, or was it so slow and hardly perceptible in terms of the changes? Where did it get hard?
I think it's hard to continue in the aspect that this is your lifestyle. And it's hard when you've been the person that has went and it's always been going out to dinner and going out and spending that time having a beer. So many people, that's how they hang out. When you do a lifestyle change like this, some of that hard happens when you don't drink now. So maybe it's not as fun to be there. Or, I can have a good time without drinking. Don't get me wrong. But it's not what I do. It's not where I'm at. And I'd rather go for a run, go for a bike ride, go for those types of things. And so I think the people that expect that, the college friends that you go hang out with, hey, let's go have a beer, let's go do this, let's go do that. I still say yes. I just don't have beer, and some people look at you like, you're not drinking. It's always something's wrong.
Yeah, what's up? Isn't that a weird?
Yeah, I mean, it's like if I'm drinking, you should be drinking. I know, but I'm not gonna.
It seems backwards.
It's so. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's so ass backwards. It's like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? I will say I had a really cool, the first time in my life as an adult where I went to a event and did not drink, and nobody said a word, and it was all good. I stayed up in the mountains with 3 or 4 really close friends, and I was worried because I was like, man, okay, these guys like to drink, but I'm trying not to do this. I stopped in September. This was the second week of October, so it's still like a new thing. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this because I feel like I'm going to cave to the first bit of peer pressure as guys do to one another. And there was 0. And I was like, holy cow, I fully made this so much worse in my head than it actually was. And I think people are waking up to like, I get why you do that. It makes a lot of sense why you don't drink.
And I think you do that to yourself on a lot of these things. I mean, we all do it to ourselves. And I think it's on me. It's like, but I have no problem. And there's no judgment if someone drinks. People choose what they do in life. And I have no problem with that. I have no judgments whatsoever on anybody. And for me, it's what I've chosen to do for my life. It's how I've chosen to live my life. Hopefully it can be healthy. I do see some changes in our kids is what they do. My 16-year-old, he does watch what he eats, his protein intake, that type of stuff. Not over, I guess that was a fear of mine is,
go too far the other way.
Go too far the other way.
Becoming a weirdo.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I think that was a fear of mine, and to impact them to have a food, like you're always working on your food. So after we got done with all of our macros, to go back to just living life.
Yeah.
And I think that was a struggle. You always said, hey, stop tracking.
Yeah.
And hey, stop tracking. I think you had to say that to me several
Multiple
times.
Yeah. It's like, dude, you can't sustain this forever.
Right.
Like some people can. Esther, was there ever a moment in the journey where TJ really had to rely on you, either to keep going or to deal through stressful periods, or were you just kind of feeling the weight of it all?
No, not at all. Because once he makes up his mind to commit to something, he's pretty committed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one thing that maybe still struggles with a little bit and did throughout certainly is, what's the goal? I think that triathlon mindset of like, there's a finish line of some kind. And I think that's always like, this is a finite period of time, and there's a beginning and there's an end. And I think I still see some where that's a little bit of like, well, okay, but what are we working on right now? Like there's progress towards some end goal. And so when I am home and we get to work out together, that's a conversation that we have pretty frequently is, do you want to sign up and do a half marathon? Do you want to, I'm thinking about doing another triathlon, or like there's something where there's a finite, there's a goal. So it's pretty cool to see just the day-to-day life where that's not the case. Like this is just the way we live.
Was that a season? Was there a time where that was like a common conversation? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And lately,
yeah,
it's just not a thing.
I think it's always there a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's less so certainly than it was. I think for a period of time there was definitely like, okay, this is great. This is fine. I'm, a happy, healthy, active adult with, that has great nutrition but what's
next?
Yeah.
What do I need to put my energy into? Yeah.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
What comes to mind for me when you say that is, there is I can't think of the name of the book off the top of my head. There's a phase in business. I grew the company, and like, maybe you've experienced this too, where you like achieve this goal and you do the thing. And then there's this like period of like, kind of like emptiness of like, I don't know what's next. I got here and I thought it would be so much different. And I'm how proud of myself for doing it. The word is called Etterath, Etterath. This is a made up word. It comes from a book that describes all these things that we don't have words for, but we need words for. I can't remember one of my, Lindsay Lindsay Walton from OTA put me onto this book. I was going through a season where I was like, gym's doing great. This was my entire life purpose. And now I'm burned out on the thing and I don't know what's next. Yeah. So I'm curious, did you go through a phase of like...
I go through that all the time.
Do you?
Yeah, I mean, because I'm always when you're a lifelong entrepreneur, there's always something new that I'm working on. You know, whether I just go, you know, we just finished a shop at our house, you know, it's all done. I'm ready to sell the house. I don't have anything to work on, you know, like that's just, I am nonstop, like wake up in the morning, I'm active from morning I don't sit well.
Yeah.
You know,
and that makes sense why you need, or you operate best with milestones and
goal,
structure and something to work towards.
I will do a half Ironman. There is going to be a time.
I don't doubt it.
I won't. That failure of a year and a half ago will be. I just have to figure out how to work it into my schedule. And as my daughter gets older, and I'm getting older, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah, that'll be awesome, man. Well, I feel like this is a pretty good stopping point. Yeah. Just want to reiterate a couple things here. We're playing the long game, and what that means is we're looking at lifestyle change. We're looking at changing identity and beliefs and habits and routines and compounding small wins over time. And when you do that, you can really change things. This is TJ and Esther are living proof, to reverse diabetes, which is largely preventable and reversible outside of type 1. It's entirely mostly lifestyle and activity related. And so, dude, I'm hopeful that your story is really going to impact a lot of people's lives, a lot of families and a lot of futures. And I'm proud of you, man. Like, for what it's worth, dude, I'm just a guy over here from a microphone talking to you. It has been such a gratifying and enjoyable relationship to coach you. And it's now at the point where you're basically doing it yourself. I just write you programs and we just check in every 4 to 6 weeks and make sure you're good. But it's interactions like this, man, that like why I do what I do, to make really life change, and to hear that your kids see that and you're impacting, there's a ripple effect amongst your family and all this other stuff. And that just really lights me up. That's what gives me energy to like keep it rocking. So I'm really excited for you, man, and what the future holds. And I promise you, we will make it out to Minnesota and come visit.
Good.
Once I feel I can step away from my business for long enough to not let things implode.
I get it.
Yeah, man.
Thank you,
dude. Any parting words? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, for me, it's just thank you. And for people that wonder if they can do it, it's one of those things. It's the support that I got from you, and it's you say I did it, and I appreciate that. But it's the support that I got from you, and just the little things along the way that just push you over the top. And I appreciate that more than you changed my family's life. You changed my life for forever. And I do truly appreciate that.
Heck yeah, man. Awesome. This is the long game. Check back out in the next couple weeks, and we'll keep the conversation rolling. Thanks, guys.